Well, at least for most of us, that is, Egypt, that could not be seen from Cyprus, some 1,000 kilometers away. And that as you move further and further away from the equator, several years later, another Greek scholar, Eratostenes, would go a step further and not only prove that the Earth was round, but also measure its circumference with only the power of the sun and a stick. Known as one of the most prominent scholars of his time, Eratostenes studied in Athens and produced even appointed as the chief librarian of the Great Library of Alexandria, one of the largest and most significant libraries of the ancient world. One of Eratosthenes' many ambitions was to create a world map. He lived in the city of Alexandria, near the mouth of the Nile River in present-day modern Egypt. He had first heard about a well located in the ancient city of Syene, which is now present-day modern Aswan. He realized that at noon on the summer solstice, when the sun was directly overhead, sunlight illuminated the entire bottom portion of the well, without casting any shadows on the sides like during other days of the year. He then checked to see if the same phenomenon was happening in Alexandria by placing a stick upright in the ground at noon on the day of the summer solstice. Here, he noticed that the sun did cast a shadow at an angle of 7.2 degrees. This is because the city of Alexandria is north of the Tropic of Cancer, or also known as the northernmost point where the sun will be directly overhead. In this calculation was determining the distance between Alexandria and Syene. With modern technology, this would be no big deal, but back in 240 BC, this was much more difficult to perform and especially perform accurately. Eratosthenes hired what was known as a bemetist, who essentially was a professional walker trained to measure distances by counting steps. Although not much is known about their measurement methods, they were known to have a high degree of precision and were thought to have accompanied Alexander the Great on his campaign throughout Asia. These bemetists, which measured distances and length of stadia, an ancient Greek unit of length based on the circumference of a typical sports stadium, determined that the distance between Alexandria and Syene was roughly 5,000 stadia, or 800 kilometers in today's terms. Since Eratosthenes knew that the sun hit straight on in Syene and at a 7.2 degree angle in Alexandria, it is important to remember as well that he had to make many important assumptions which at the time were not so accurate. Number one, that the distance between Alexandria and Syene was exactly 5,000 stadia, or 800 kilometers. We know today that this distance is measured at 841 kilometers. Number two, he assumed that Alexandria is due north of Syene, which although it is north, it is not directly due north as he originally assumed. Number three, he assumed that Syene lies on the Tropic of Cancer. Today, we know that present-day Aswan is actually 73 kilometers away from the Tropic of Cancer. It is certainly amazing to know what was accomplished so long ago with such a limited tool set. Eratosthenes would go on to create his map as well as make many other breakthroughs, but that will have to be saved for another video.